The CDC and dozens of states are investigating a possible link between vaping and lung disease. Doctors say parents need to be very aware of the risks their kids may face.
And school districts across Texas are tackling the vaping problem as well as the students come back for the new year.
Chris Costa is joining us live with how some districts are handling vaping on their campuses. Chris.
Hey, Reka, many school districts already consider vaping in the same category as smoking cigarettes or smoking marijuana. And it's very common for school districts and campuses to completely prohibit any nicotine or tobacco products of any kind, including vape pods, because those also contain nicotine. And now school staff who are preparing for a new year say they're going to have a sharp eye out for these products. The CDC calls youth vaping an epidemic, and Houston doctors say a majority of parents don't know that vape pods contain nicotine.
It is not a good product for kids who will get the harmful effects of nicotine.
Dr. Pushan Jani is a lung specialist who says one vape pod contains the same amount of nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
As shown here in this blue-colored pipes, are the ones that get the most damage.
In addition to increased blood pressure and lung inflammation, Dr. Johnny says adolescents who start vaping at a young age increase their chances of addiction.
They are very vulnerable in developing these addiction potentials, specifically to nicotine.
Which is why school districts like Houston, Fort Bend, and Katy all have policies that prohibit vaping lumped in with other nicotine or tobacco use. The CDC is investigating 94 cases of lung disease nationwide, including one in Texas, from people who report using vapes.
We definitely have a strong association, if not causation. We have definitive strong association in a lot of these cases.
That's enough to make parents concerned.
Absolutely.
Now, many of the major manufacturers have stopped selling or making a lot of the flavored vape pods, especially to kids under the age of 18. But Dr. Johnny says there are chemicals within those flavoring agents that can still cause lung inflammation, and kids are buying knockoff versions of those vape pods with flavors online. So they say that parents need to be especially aware. Reka?
All right, thank you so much.